Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It is time for another sketchbook tour. As usual, Strathmore tone tan paper, markers, and just some cheap old BIC pens. I did mix in a little brush pen with this sketchbook, so you'll see that a little bit, and jelly roller pens as well, so for highlights. Let's check out the first drawing. With this sketchbook, I really got pretty dang vibrant with the colors. I did a lot of different colors, and one of the reasons for that is I really wanted to experiment with the different markers I have. I've been using these Ohuhu ones. They're way cheaper than the previous Master's Touch markers that I was using, and I have a lot of colors. So this has been me kind of experimenting with all these different colors. So this first sketch is kind of like a giant monster guy, and then this little dude is riding on his back. One thing I've noticed about the Ohuhu colors is I feel like the saturation and how dark they are on the tone tan is it's darker than the Master's Touch stuff. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. I have been mixing in a lot of the different colors to just try and kind of figure out each marker, because a few times I went too dark too fast, and I don't like to go too dark when I'm adding shadows with like a color like this, like a mauve shadow, purple color. If I go too dark with the colors, I have to use a darker lavender to add shadows in. And what I'm talking about with the shadows is, like, you can kind of see on him right through here and on his face. I just go right over the top of the previous colors. I don't ever use that side. I always use the brush side. So it just depends on the look you're going for. And as you can tell, I'm just drawing right over the top of this one. But, you know, this is a much more subtle shadow, as where you have a harder, darker shadow for this. I think I want to try experimenting with darker shadows, especially since I've been messing with, you know, the brush tip pens. This drawing didn't have any of the brush tip, but next sketch, kind of a girl, soldier girl. I did not use brush pen on this. Actually, I did a tiny bit just for the outlines. And this was kind of like a, I don't know, at first I was thinking maybe I was going to draw Red Sonja again, but then I decided to kind of go in a different direction. It definitely reminds me of like a heavy metal magazine type illustration. A lot of my work actually kind of does. But yeah, I mean, I like the drawing. I have definitely stylistic choices when I draw women. I like to draw, you know, more like realistic, like you can see kind of the curve right here on her skin kind of being tucked in, like just more voluptuous, like curvy figures. I prefer that versus like kind of comic book, really stylized, idealized type figures. Her face is okay. One thing about this one, so her skin tone is pretty dark, and this was one of the illustrations where I really need to figure out these markers, because I'm getting really dark with stuff that I didn't intend to get so dark with. I do like how the sword kind of gold turned out on her, but yeah, kind of an interesting illustration. This is just a sketch page. It's like March of Robots, and I was just kind of sketching robots for a little bit. I didn't really go too far with the March of Robots thing. I just like too much variety in my illustrations, so, you know, I end up drawing other random weird stuff. Here's a robot. You can see I used like pretty much every color I had on this guy. This drawing basically reminds me of like I don't know, you gave a 5-year-old really, really good art coordination, and this is what they would draw. Again, tons of different colors, kind of a robot girl. So these two were both kind of March of Robots type characters. She's more like a cyborg nurse girl. I like the hair, the color scheme on the hair. The blue and the pink looks kind of cool together. And she's definitely, you know, quirky. Her expression on her face, I was referencing different, you know, facial expressions and stuff, so I just wouldn't draw the same expression every time. Just referencing, you know, that's how you're gonna learn. A lot of times I think you guys look at my work and you think, you know, I draw from imagination a lot, and I do, probably more than I should, to be honest. Drawing from reference is gonna be what allows you to learn new things versus drawing what you already know. This is just messing around with the brush pen. This is my favorite type of brush pen too, and I've used tons of different kinds, but this is my favorite one. So you guys probably saw this video. You can watch me draw this one as well as my girls. This is Mabel from Gravity Falls. This is my little character sketch. So here's some random weird princess girls, I think. Just kind of messing around, drawing different character ideas. I liked her a lot. Liked her face, her expression. It's kind of interesting. This one's very my style, Dr. Seuss, maybe. I don't know. So this is a superhero sketch. He's kind of busting through. Maybe he got smashed down into the ground. His arm's missing. But yeah, this one's kind of cool. Smaller. I wanted to try and, when I was drawing this one, I was thinking about incorporating more scenery and elements into the drawing versus the style that I normally do, where it's just character concepts kind of just standing there. So this one, very Frank Frazetta style. The shadows just kind of blur into the character, and in the shadowed areas, there's not a whole lot of detail. I love Frank Frazetta. His style is absolutely beautiful to me. I love how he drew women and stuff like that. The only issue I have with this one is the anatomy of this arm. There was no reference on this, so it was kind of just drawing out of my head. But one of the keys to drawing out of your head, and I've watched this from other master artist guys talking about it and stuff, and when you do see an error, you know, that's something you need to work on. So that's one cool thing about drawing out of your head and then going to reference is you draw from your head and then you see where things don't quite look right, and then you practice that area and figure out why it didn't look right. So, but yeah, kind of a cool jungle girl. This was super random. The black ink, actually, I used black ink on the previous one? A little bit. I love this is something I'll definitely try and do more so in the future. One benefit of the brush pen versus the big pens is the line width and variation that you can get, just the detail. So you can go super thin for some super textural details that you want to add in. And then the contrast of that with some really nice, thick, flowy lines just adds interest to the drawing. I think it's pretty. I like the way it looks. This is kind of like a future girl jumping over some zombies. So random. I don't know. The pose is cool though. That's what I was kind of working on. Just turns into this. Here's some faces. Just sketching random faces, stuff like that. One thing I need to work on is profiles. I can't draw profiles that well consistently. Man, I can draw them and get, you know, a good profile every now and again, and it looks great, but then I'm not as consistent with that as I am straight on looks, so it's something that I'm looking at getting better at. This one I fully kind of rendered with the markers and stuff. This is kind of a tree guy. I love all the texture that I got. This was one where I really went heavy with the brush pen, mixing it with the big pen. Just throwing in detail where I wanted to kind of give focal points. Like you can see on this side of him where the light hits and stuff, I avoided doing really thick dark lines and things like that. Those are just conscientious things that, you know, add to the illustration. You know, getting really heavy with the brush pen in the chest area, and on parts of him that are in shadow, like through here and stuff like that. It just adds kind of weight to your illustration, I think. But I like this one. I mean, the design of the character is okay, but I really like the actual rendering of this guy, like the textures, using the markers without outlines to add different colors kind of throughout him. I felt like a lot of that worked really well. This is kind of like a cowboy, gunslinger maybe. I liked his face, his posture, his stature. I mean, he's unique, I guess, but there's just something that I felt was a little bit off. I liked his shaggy hair. The character this reminds me of is Russell Crowe's character in the movie Quick and the Dead. Just like this kind of disheveled gunslinger guy that's not really enthusiastic about it. So it's kind of an interesting character. So this is Rogue from the X-Men. Really, again, look at all the colors, messing with the markers, working on, you know, just shines and stuff on this latex bodysuit. It's interesting with this illustration. So I follow a lot of artists, and there's a guy, I can't remember his name right now, but he draws his girls, and I noticed this because I prefer a different type of body, but he draws them with very narrow hips, as where I accentuate the hips. And that's just a stylistic choice. You know, you guys, once you get to a point where you're really confident in what you draw, you get to start having preferences based on the fact that you know how to draw a lot of different things. And so you can start making these choices, and that's when, you know, having the freedom to draw from your mind and draw what you want to draw really is great, because you can say, you know what, I prefer to draw something this way, and you have the ability to do that. So this is a great example of, you know, because I saw a Rogue that he had drawn, and just my choices versus his, and how we differ artistically. But anyway, that's the sketchbook tour for now. I need to do some more, a different type of drawing video. I don't want to just always upload sketchbook tours. So I have a few different ideas in mind. So keep a lookout for that. But hope you guys liked the video. Thanks for watching. And yeah, let me know what your favorite sketch was from this sketchbook tour. I always love seeing your guys' input. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I will catch you later.